Welcome back, and joining me now is Republican Senator Lindsey Graham of South Carolina. Senator Graham, welcome back to Meet the Press.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for being here. I'm so sorry we have to meet under these circumstances again, Senator. You were on this program the day after the first assassination attempt against President Trump. My question for you this morning, Senator, what is your message to people this morning about this moment that we're in this country?
Well, number one, my message to Charlie Kirk's widow is that our hearts are broken along with yours. To the MAGA world, the right response is to do what Charlie did: debate, organize, register voters, keep the movement alive through the political process. The bottom line here is that we all reject political violence. What happened to Mark's wife, Gabby, is just senseless. What happened in Minnesota is senseless. But let me just be honest with you. President Trump, nor do I, see this as they all kind of do it moment. I see this as an attack on the political movement. I see this being different. Charlie Kirk is one of the top 3 people in the country that allowed President Trump to win in 2024 by his efforts. And I think President Trump sees this as an attack on his political movement, what he created. A year ago, people tried to blow his head off. So this is not, for me, they all do it. This is unique and different. This is an attack on a movement by using violence. And that's the way most Republicans see this.
And as Governor Cox just noted, President Trump has said he does not want any type of violence to come in the wake of this. He has also blamed Charlie Kirk's assassination on what he called the radical left. Elon Musk, though, posted on X, quote, "The left is the party of murder." We're hearing some of those same messages on Capitol Hill. Senator, do you believe this is the right message for this moment?
I think what the head of the Oxford Union, the young man about to take over, is one of the greatest debating societies in the world in Oxford, England. He said, Charlie Kirk got shot, let's effing go. There is an effort by the radical left to dehumanize the MAGA movement. And I reject political violence. If you are offended by what somebody says or does, then take up a political cause to fight back, not a gun, not a bomb, not a knife. We don't need the Mideast moment here in America where it turns into just revenge killing. We don't need a Mideast moment for America here. What we need to do is be honest with each other. President Trump is not just President of the United States. He's the leader of a movement. Charlie Kirk was his chief lieutenant. This is viewed by many people in the MAGA movement, conservatives like myself, as an attack on the movement, not just traditional political violence. And I really believe that. And what I'm asking everybody to do is not to resort to violence to settle your political differences. To those wounded and hurt, Turning Point wasn't a violent organization. It wasn't Antifa. It wasn't the KKK. If you really want to honor Charlie's legacy, get involved. Do what he did. Organize, debate. Let's win in 2026. That's the best way to do this.
Senator, very quickly, I hear in your voice what you're saying. Are you worried there could be retaliation?
Yeah, you always worry about people, somebody very close to you gets killed for thinking like you. Charlie was a symbol of MAGA to so many young people who felt disenfranchised. He said things that people don't like. I understand that, but the answer is not to kill him. This guy was something. He created a movement on colleges that no other Republican could ever create. He's one of the chief reasons that President Trump won, and I'm glad to hear his widow say that we're going to continue. But my advice to America here is killing people. That's what they do in the Mideast. That's not what we do.
All right.
And Section 230 needs to be repealed. If you're mad at social media companies that radicalize our nation, you should be mad.
Senator,
I have a bill that would allow you to sue these people. They're immune from lawsuit.
All right, Senator, I want to talk to you about Russia, which I know you've been very focused on this week. NATO
Yes.
planes, as you well know, shot down Russian drones in Polish airspace. On Saturday, Romania scrambled fighter jets after a Russian drone entered its airspace. You said this week, quote, "We've tried the red carpet approach. It ain't working." Is it time for President Trump to directly punish Putin?
No, it is time for Europe to get behind President Trump to punish Putin's customers. Putin has been sanctioned, literally his economy has been sanctioned every way it can be sanctioned. President Trump approach is to go after China and India. President Trump put a 25% tariff on every Indian product coming into America because they buy cheap Russian oil. He is now going after China. He posted yesterday to our European allies, mostly NATO allies, that he expects them to follow his lead by imposing tariffs on China for 50 to 100%, up to 100% on products coming into Europe. It is now time for Europe to get behind the Trump approach. The Europeans say they love the Graham bill. Graham-Blumenthal bill is 85 co-sponsors in the Senate that will allow President Trump to tariff people who buy cheap Russian oil and for their benefit, like China, India, Brazil. It is now time for the Europeans to follow President Trump's lead and go after China and India. China and India will change their practices toward Putin. This war would end.
All right. Well, Senator, you introduced that sanctions bill against Russia 6 months ago.
Yeah.
You have 85 people on board. Why issue an ultimatum to Europe and not Putin? Why not move forward with that bill now? And are you planning to?
Putin doesn't care about sanctions. No sanctions have worked here. He evades sanctions. He lives well.
Are you going to push your bill forward, though?
Die.
Are you going to get your bill on?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, ma'am. Yeah, and let me tell you, the bill is not directed toward Putin. It's directed toward China, India, Brazil, and other countries that buy his cheap Russian oil and gas to give him the money to prosecute the world. The Europeans have been reluctant to follow that path. President Trump put a 25% tariff on India.
Very quickly, are you going to try to link this sanctions bill to the spending bill? Is that your plan?
I'll leave that up to the leaders. I think it'd be a good time to pass it. We have to fund the government by the end of the month. President Trump is calling on Europe to have a united front here. Scott Bessent's talking to the Europeans. Let me just say this very quickly. If Europe and the United States came together tomorrow and said, you know, China and India, you can't have access to our economy, the European economy, the American economy, unless you stop buying Russian oil to keep Putin in business, I think they would change their behavior. And I think it's time for this bill to pass.
All right.
I think it's now time for the Europeans to adopt the approach of President Trump.
All right.
Tariff those who buy Russian cheap oil and gas.
Senator Lindsey Graham, thank you for being here on a really significant Sunday.
Thank you.
We really appreciate it.
We thank you for watching. And remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.